All right. Good afternoon, you guys. It's about noon. I'm glad you're joining me today for yoga. We're going to start seated. So just come into a comfortable seat. I'm going to suggest that you cross your legs if you can sit comfortably with your legs crossed. If not, you can just bring the soles of your feet together. Just make sure you can sit all the way up. So you want to make sure your spine is really long and straight. We're going to take our hands with the palms facing up. Just rest your hands on the tops of your knees. And then close your eyes and let's just take a moment here to establish belly breathing. So with your mouth closed, inhale and exhale through your nose. Taking these first few breaths just to kind of find your breath. So just find where you feel your breath moving in your body. Find the rhythm of inhales and exhales. And don't worry too much about changing your breath. Just kind of locate it. Find it and feel it. And then lightly bring your hands to your rib cage. So we're going to take the hands with the fingers pointing in toward the center of the belly and the thumbs wrapping around the sides of the ribs. Just place your hands lightly on the front of your rib cage. And then we'll take a few breaths trying to expand the rib cage with our inhales. And relax the rib cage with our exhales. Just take a few more rounds of breath here, trying to make your inhales a little deeper, a little fuller, expanding your ribs front to back and side to side. And make your exhales a little slower, a little more complete. And just take one more deep belly breath here, expanding the ribs. Exhale until it's all gone. And then bring your hands gently back to your knees, palms facing down. Close your eyes again and drop your chin forward toward your chest. And we're going to begin to circle the head and stretch the neck. So just making circles with the head, and if it's not comfortable to circle all the way around, then just drop the right ear to the right shoulder, then bring your chin to your chest, and then left ear to the left shoulder, and then chin to chest. So if it doesn't feel good to drop your head backwards, sometimes that can feel stressful to the back of the neck, then just choose to keep your head forward instead. And the main thing here is that you pay attention to the way this feels in your body, in your neck, and you choose the stretch that feels right for you. And if you're making full circles with your head, the next time your head comes forward, circle the other way a few times. Try to stay connected to your breathing. So you're still taking full breaths, still expanding breath into your ribs, into your belly, and mostly just paying attention to your breath. And then the next time your head comes forward, just let your head hang forward, bring your chin down close to your chest, bring your hands together, palm to palm. reaching your thumbs close to your sternum. Take one more quiet breath here. Now as you exhale, let it all go. And then lift up your head, open your eyes, and on your inhale, sweep your arms overhead, reaching through all 10 fingertips. And then we'll take the right hand down to the mat beside you, tenting the fingers on the floor, stretch a little taller through the left side, and just take a little lean to the right. So as you side bend here, keep your face forward, keep your chest forward, keep your left sit bone rooting down into the ground. Inhale, come back to center, 2 hands up. Release the left hand, tent the left fingers, reach through the right side, lean to the left. Still bringing the face forward, the belly forward. Keep drawing the low belly in. And then inhale, come back to the top, 2 arms reaching up. Exhale, bring your hands back to your chest, and we'll drop the hands in front of us and just take a little walk forward to get a little stretch in the hips here. So as the chest comes closer to the floor, the arms stretch up toward the top of the mat. Feel that release in your hips. And stay for 2 rounds of belly breath. So big inhale, long, slow exhale. One more time, big breath. Exhale and let it go. And then walk your way back upright. We're going to change the position of the legs. So whichever leg is in front or on top, we'll reverse that. Come back up to the top of your sit bones here. Bring your hands to your chest. Gaze forward. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. All 10 fingers reaching up toward the ceiling. And this time we're going to twist. So bring your left hand to your right knee. Take your right hand behind you and just rotate your spine, looking over your right shoulder. Still rooting into both sit bones, but reaching through the crown of the head. Take a full belly breath here. And then on your inhale, come back to center, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, we'll twist to the left, so bring your right hand to your left knee. Turn and look over your left shoulder. Remember to keep reaching through the crown of the head. Stay for a breath. And then inhale, come back to center, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your chest, and then drop the hands forward. We'll take that same hip stretch, walking forward until you feel a good release in your hips, and staying for 2 rounds of full belly breaths. See if you can expand your breath again here, just as we did a moment ago. One more deep breath. And then gently walk your way back upright. We're going to come over the tops of the knees and up to tabletop. So coming onto all fours, knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Spread your fingers out wide. Lift your belly toward the spine so the belly is really active and strong. We're going to move the spines through flexion and extension. So curling the toes under, draw the belly down. Bring the gaze forward. Try to reach the heart forward. And then as you exhale, flatten your feet, curl your chin to your chest, press your spine up toward the ceiling. Continue with your breath here. So inhale as you curl the toes under, bring the gaze forward, coming into cow. And then exhaling as you press the spine up, tuck the chin, tuck the hips, and come into cat. Let's do a few more rounds. Inhaling here and exhaling here. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. And then we'll just release to a neutral position, leveling the spine. Take your knees a little wider than they are and sink your hips back to your heels. Reach your fingertips toward the top of your mat. Nice little lat stretch, nice shoulder stretch here. Good release for the low back. Big breath. Exhale and let it all go. And then we'll walk both hands off to the right side of your mat. You can stack your left hand on your right. Let your head rest between your arms. Feel that giant stretch across the left side of the torso. So especially through the left rib cage. Breathe into that space there. And then walk your way through center over to the left side. Option to stack the right hand on the left hand. Let your head rest between your arms. Feel space in the right rib cage and take a full breath there. And then gently walk your way back to center. Lift your way up to tabletop, tucking the knees back together. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees and press up to downward facing dog. So keep the knees bent here, pedal the legs a few times, just working out any soreness or stiffness in the backs of the legs, especially into the hamstrings. One more big belly breath here. And then we're going to walk our hands backward, the hands coming back toward the feet, putting all the body weight in the feet. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Take your elbows, holding opposite elbows, coming into ragdoll. Let the arms hang heavy. Let the head hang heavy. This is a great place to turn your head side to side, like you're shaking your head no. And then nod your head like you're shaking your head yes, or nodding your head yes. And then let your head hang. So it's such a habit to hold the head up, to keep tension in the neck and the shoulders. See if you can let that go for now. So letting the crown of the head reach toward the floor. No tension in the neck, no tension in the shoulders. Stay for another full breath. And at the very end of your exhale, let your arms go. Arms hanging heavy. Bend your knees, tuck your tailbone. Curl your way up to standing slowly. Coming up, moving through each part of the back. So the shoulders come back and down, the head comes up last, the gaze comes forward, and the hands come back to the heart. So with the hands at the heart, find a gazing point in front of you. And then notice how you're standing here. Try to balance your weight evenly between your feet. Spread your toes out wide. Press the base of your big toe down. Press the base of your pinky toe down. Lift your arches. Lift your inner ankles. Engage your quadriceps just a little bit so the kneecaps pull up away from the ankles. Draw your tailbone down. Pull your front ribs in. Lift your sternum. Drop your shoulders. And find that beautiful posture, long extended spine. Take a belly breath here, expanding your rib cage. Exhale and let it go. And then as you inhale, reach your arms up. All 10 fingers reaching to the ceiling. As you exhale, right hand goes to the right thigh, left arm stretches taller, lean to the right, rooting into the left foot, getting that side bend. And once you get as sideways as you can, start to pull your left shoulder back, maybe lifting up your gaze. So you get a little rotation in that side bend. And then with your inhale, come back to center, both arms reaching up. Release your left hand to the left side, stretch a little taller through the right, lean to the left, rooting into the right foot. And once you get as deeply as you can in the side bend, start to pull your right shoulder back, lift your gaze, and take a little rotation so the chest is open. One big breath here. And then inhale, come back to center, 2 arms up. Exhale, soften your knees, swan dive, fold forward. And then walk your way out to plank. So we're going to walk into that plank position with the hands directly under the shoulders. The legs are long and straight. Feet should be about shoulder distance, and the hips are just a little bit lower than the shoulders. Squeeze your belly in and up, and imagine that you're pressing the floor away through your hands, because you really are pressing your body weight away from the floor. Take another full breath here. And then as you exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees if you need to be comfortable in down dog. And then from here, engage your abdominals. So pull your abdominals in. Reach your right foot off the floor. Flex your right foot behind you. Point 5 toes down toward the ground. keeping your hips level, your right glute engaged, your abdominals engaged. Take a big breath. And as you exhale, we're going to curl the right knee into the chest. Make that cat position in the back so the back is really rounded. Inhale, press back to three-leg dog. And then exhale, curl your right knee in again towards your chest or maybe even towards your nose. Inhale, press back, three-leg dog. And let's go one more time. Curl the knee in. Create so much space under the body that you can step the right foot between the hands and come up to runner's lunge. So as the right foot comes forward, if you didn't quite get it all the way between the hands, just lift up and help that right foot through so that you can find that perpendicular line in your right shin with your ankle stacked directly under your knee. So whatever you need to do to get there, just make sure you have that proper position. And then from here, lift just a little bit onto your fingertips, reach your heart forward, bring your gaze forward, keep your left leg really strong, stay for a breath. And then as you exhale, we're going to drop the left knee, untuck the toes, push the hips back, and find that hamstring release. So as the hips drop back, the right knee will straighten, the hamstrings will stretch. The knee can stay soft if you need it to. Just be mindful of how it feels. Stay for a breath. And then inhale, soften the right knee, plant the sole of the foot. We're going to keep the left hand down, left knee down. Sweep the right arm up and take a twist to the right side. So reaching the right hand above the shoulder. Keep pressing the top of the left foot into the floor, squeezing the inner thighs together to find that stability in the lower body. Stay for one more breath. And then as you exhale, bring the right hand down, tuck the left toes under, pick up the left knee. We're going to step back to plank. Chest is right above the thumbs. Squeeze the elbows in toward the ribs here. And then as you exhale, drop your knees, your chest, and your chin, elbows to your body. Inhale, roll forward onto the belly, lift your heart, coming up to cobra. And then as you exhale, lower the chest, press back through table to downward facing dog. So lifting up the hips again, option to pedal the legs a few times. Notice where you're feeling tight still. Try to stretch into those places. Use your breath to create space. Always expanding your breath into those places in your body that feel tight or stuck. One more big belly breath here. And then we'll make the same transition. So with your inhale, walk your hands back to your feet. Come back to ragdoll if you like, or hook your big toes, taking your big toes with your first two fingers. Flare your elbows sideways. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and come into a deep forward fold. Remember to relax your neck and your head and your shoulders. Maybe open your mouth wide a few times here and relax your jaw. And just stay for another breath or two. Expanding your breath into your belly, moving your rib cage with your breath. And then with your exhale, just release whatever you're holding. Let your arms hang, bend your knees, curl your spine to come all the way up to standing slowly. Take your time coming up. There's no hurry. Shoulders come back and down, head comes up last. Bring your hands back to your chest. Find that same gazing point in front of you. And then think again about your posture. How are you standing? Are your feet pressing into the ground? Are your toes spreading wide? Are your kneecaps turning forward? Are your legs active? Is your low belly strong? Spine long and straight, shoulders relaxing. And then on your inhale here, sweep your arms up again. As you exhale, we're going to bring the right hand out to the right side. We're going to flip the right palm back, wrap the right arm around the back. So the right elbow comes close to the right rib cage. Take your left hand and place it gently on your right shoulder. Face is forward, so we've got that right shoulder anchored down. We're going to drop the left ear to the left shoulder and just take a side stretch here on the right side of the neck. Stay for a breath. And at the end of your exhale, turn and look to your left shoulder, still stretching into the right side of the neck. Stay for a breath here. And then bring your face forward, lift your head up, unwind the arms, sweep the arms back overhead. And this time we'll take the left arm out to the left side, rotate the palm backward, and then wrap the left arm around the back, bringing the left elbow close to the left ribs. Right hand anchors the left shoulder and drop the right ear. So the face is forward, stretching into the left side of the neck. Stay for a breath. And then just turn and look to the right shoulder, stretching a little deeper to the left side of the neck. Take a breath here. And then bring your face back to the front, lift up your head, unwind the arms, sweep the arms overhead, big inhale as you lift. Exhale, soften the knees, swan dive and fold. And same thing here, we're just gonna walk our way out to plank. So coming all the way out to a plank position, tuck the elbows in toward the ribs, keep the abdominals lifted and strong, and stay for a breath. And as you exhale here, same thing. We're going to drop the knees, the chest, and the chin. Inhale, roll to the belly. Lift your heart, untuck the toes. Little back bend here. And then as you exhale, release your chest down. Press through table, back into downward facing dog. One full breath. And then keep your arms really strong and straight as if you were pushing the floor away from your head. Keep the abdominals strong. Lift up your left leg. 5 toes pointing toward the ground. Stay for a breath here. And as you exhale, we're going to curl the left knee into the chest. Create a lot of space under the body. Inhale, stretch back, 3-leg dog. Exhale, knee to chest or knee to nose, cat the back, so really round the back. Inhale, press back, 3-leg dog, and we'll go one more time, curling the left knee into the chest, creating space, stepping the left foot through to come into runner's lunge. So again, if you need to help that left foot forward, use your left hand and bring the foot forward until the knee is sitting above the ankle. Let your hips drop just a little bit to get that deep release in the hips. You can lift onto your fingertips. You can reach your chest forward a little bit to lengthen the spine. Just take one more breath here. Good deep hip stretch. And then as you exhale, release your right knee, untuck your toes, shift your hips back, coming into half split or that kneeling hamstring stretch. Your left knee can stay bent. It can straighten. And you just want to find the hamstring stretch that works for you. Should feel good, shouldn't feel painful. So if it does, try softening that left knee a little bit, or maybe walking a little higher on your fingertips. Take one more breath. And then shift your weight forward toward that left foot, bending into the knee again. Keep the right knee down, right hand down. We'll take that twist to the left side. Stretching the left arm above the left shoulder, working on rotation, really pressing into the top of the right foot. One more full breath here. And then as you exhale, eyes down, hands down, tuck your right toes, pick up your right knee, step back to downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal the legs a few times again, just finding neutral. One more long, slow, full belly breath. And then we'll make the same transition, so just walk your hands backward, coming back to the back of your mat. So options here, you could come back to ragdoll, you could come back to big toe, or you could slide your palms underneath your soles. So in yoga, we have all these progressions in forward folding. This is your next progression, to slide your fingertips under your toes, or maybe your whole hand under your whole foot. If you can't get there, then it'd be okay just to hold the opposite elbows and come back to ragdoll. If you are there, it's fine to bend your knees. You can shift a little bit of body weight into the balls of your feet to help stretch through the backs of your wrists. Stay for another breath. And then release your hands, soften your knees, curl your spine, come back up to standing slowly, moving through each part of your back as you go. Lifting the shoulders back and down, bring the gaze forward, hands to chest. Find that gazing point in front of you. Draw your low belly in. We're going to bring the right hand to the right hip, shift weight to the right foot, and reach out and hold the left knee. So as you reach for the outside of the kneecap, try to keep turning your belly button forward. Stack your spine as if there was a string pulling through the top of your head. Your spine is long and straight. Work towards straightening your standing leg. So if you've got a deep bend in that right knee, work towards straightening the knee and engaging the quadriceps. So from here, without letting the belly turn, we're going to open the left knee sideways to the left. So it doesn't really matter how far the knee goes, but we do want to try to keep turning the belly forward. Right hand stays on the right hip, left hand stays on the left knee, and the eyes are still fixed on that same gazing point. Stay for a breath here. And then with your exhale, bring your left knee forward, 2 hands to your hips, extend your left leg, kick the heel, and then float the left foot down, stepping the feet together, coming back to center, hands to chest. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. And we're going to take a standing twist. So as you exhale, left arm forward, right arm back, turn your chest to the right side of your mat, and then look back to your right thumb. Stay for a breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up, come back to center, and we'll reverse it. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Turn and look to your left thumb. Take a big breath. And then inhale, come back to center, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your chest. Coming back to that gazing point, draw the low belly in again. We're going to shift weight to the left foot, put the left hand on the left hip, and reach out for the right knee. So remember, we're trying to stack the spine, keep the belly button pointing forward, work towards straightening the standing leg. So if you need a little bend in the knee, it's okay, but try to work towards straightening it. And then when you're ready, without turning the belly, open the right knee sideways. So your knee may not go very far. If you really don't allow yourself to turn your belly, that might limit how far open you can get your right knee. We just want to go as far as we can comfortably. Stay for a breath. And then gently bring the right knee forward, 2 hands to your hips, kick the heel, and then float the right foot down, big toes close together. Inhale, bring your hands back to your chest. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive to forward fold, bend your knees as you go. And then we'll walk our way back out to a plank position. So as you come back out to plank, step the feet shoulder distance apart, actively press into the floor with your hands, reach your tailbone towards your heels, draw your abdominals in and up. Stay for a breath. And then exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Keep your abdominals strong, keep your arms strong, reach your right leg up, flex your right foot, 5 toes point to the floor, take a breath. And as you exhale here, we're going to bring the right knee into the chest again. So the same thing we did before, cat tilt the back, create space. Inhale, kick back 3-leg dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, 3-leg dog. Exhale, bring your knee back up to your nose. Step your right foot through. Remember to help that foot forward if you need to. And then we're going to turn the left heel down and in. Swing the left arm back and come all the way up to warrior 2. So as we walk up to a standing position, turn the torso sideways. Reach the right knee forward over the middle of the foot. Turn the palms down to face the floor. Draw your left shoulder back. So the left shoulder is behind the right shoulder. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Take another big breath here. And then as you exhale, right elbow goes to the top of the thigh. Left arm reaches up toward the ceiling with the palm facing forward and the shoulder blade pulling down the back. So see if you can reach through the fingers, but draw the shoulder blade down. Lift out of your right elbow. Stay for another breath. And then on your inhale, come back up to warrior two. Turn your right palm up to face the ceiling, and then tip back to peaceful warrior with the right arm traveling over the head, still bending the right knee. Stay for a full breath. Notice again that space in the right rib cage. And then inhale, rise up, warrior two. And as you exhale, we're going to cartwheel 2 hands around the right foot, coming back down to runner's lunge. So if you notice here, you want to stack the right knee over the right ankle again. Release the left knee down, untuck the toes, and then swing the arms back and then up, lifting into low lunge. Sink the hips forward and down, lift your sternum, lift your gaze. Maybe there's a little back bend here, lifting the heart. Stay for another breath. And then as you exhale, frame the right foot with the hands. We're going to thread the right leg under the right arm, out to the right side, and sit back in 3-point child's pose. So if your head does not reach the floor, fold your arms and rest your head on your arms. We're going to stay for a good 3 or 4 breaths. This is a great place to check in with your breathing. Notice if you've stopped taking full breaths. If you need to, come back to those big, deep belly breaths. One more full breath here. And then on your inhale, lift your way back up to tabletop. Swing your right leg back, point 5 toes down toward the floor, coming into 3-leg table. Pressing into the hands again as if you were pushing the floor away. Make sure your right glute is really active and strong. Your belly is lifting. Reach the left arm out. Coming into 2-point table just for a breath. And then as you exhale, left hand comes down. Tuck your left toes. Lift up to 3-leg dog. Point your right big toe. And then start to reach your right foot higher. As you do that, your hips might start to turn to the right. Your belly might turn to the right. That's okay. Try to square your shoulders so the right shoulder drops. And just take one more breath here. And as you exhale, square things up, float the right foot down, and come back into down facing dog. And feel free to pedal the legs a few times if you like. Finding neutral. Keep moving the shoulders away from the ears. Take another full breath. And then one more time, we're going to make that transition to the back of the mat. So walk your hands back, shifting body weight into your feet. You have the option to come back to ragdoll, to come back to big toe, to come back to hand under foot, or if you want to come into the next variation, reach back, lace your fingers together. That may be just about all you can do is lace the fingers. If you have a little more range, press the palms together. If you have a little more range, straighten the elbows, pressing the palms together, straightening the elbows, lifting the clasped hands away from the back. Soften your knees as much as you need to. Let your head hang. Big, deep shoulder stretch, big, deep hamstring stretch. Stay for 2 more breaths. Last full breath.
And then release your arms down toward the mat. Bend your knees, curl your spine, come back up to standing slowly. Just take your time coming up. Try to move through each part of the spine as you come. Shoulders coming back and down, head comes up last. Whew, hands to heart. Find that same gazing point in front of you. So one more time here, draw the low belly in. We're going to shift weight to the right foot, pick up the left foot and cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Sit back like you're sitting in a chair. And so this is standing figure 4, nice little hip stretch here. And if you feel a deep hip stretch right there where you are, then just stay put. If you want a little more, reach your arms forward toward the top of your mat and drop your chest a little closer to your left shin. Stay for one breath. And then hands come back to your chest. Lift your way out of the squat. Step 2 feet down to the mat. Hands at your heart. Maybe pedal the legs out just a little bit. Then shift your weight to your left foot. Pick up your right foot. Cross your right ankle over. Sit back like you're sitting in a chair. So any kind of bend in the knees and the hips is going to give you a good hip release. Don't feel like you have to go too deep, especially if you're struggling with balance. But if you have your balance and you want to reach out, go a little deeper. Take another breath here. And then hands to chest. Lift your way out of that squat. Step 2 feet down to the mat. Maybe the feet can be shoulder distance here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive and fold. Soften your knees to get there. Walk your way to plank. Hang on to that plank position for a breath. Tuck the tailbone. Pull the ribs in. Squeeze the abdominals. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Actively push the floor away. Soften your knees a bit. Engage the abdominals. Reach your left foot off the floor. 5 toes pointing down. Big breath. As you exhale, left knee to nose. Inhale, 3-leg dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Curl the spine. Inhale, 3-leg dog. And then exhale, knee to nose. Create space. Step your left foot through. Dial your right heel down. And then swoop the right arm back, coming all the way up to warrior 2. Sink into the left knee. Draw the right shoulder back. So the torso is turning sideways. The left knee tracks over the middle of the foot. And the right leg is really strong. So from here, take a breath. We'll drop the left elbow to the left thigh. Reach the right arm up. Coming into extended side angle. So remember to reach through the fingers, draw the shoulder blade down, and then lift out of the left elbow. One more breath here. Inhale, rise up, warrior 2. Turn your left palm up. Tip back to peaceful warrior. So the legs stay the same. Left knee is bent, right leg is strong. Space in the left rib cage. One breath here. And then inhale, rise up, warrior 2. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands around the left foot. Lift onto the ball of the right foot. Sink back down to runner's lunge. And then go ahead and release the right knee. Untuck the right toes. Sweep the arms back and then up, lifting up to low lunge. So you can stay in that kneeling position. You can drop deeper in the lunge position. You can create a back bend, deepening the stretch in the hips. Stay for one more breath. Exhale, release your hands around your left foot. We're going to thread the left leg under the left arm out to the left side and sit back in 3-point child's pose. Remember to find that support for your head here. 3 full rounds of breath. One more big belly breath here. And then as you inhale, just lift your way back up to 3-leg table. Sweep your left leg back. 5 toes point to the floor. Push the floor away through your arms. Level your hips. Lift your belly and reach your right arm out. Coming into 2-point table, just take a breath. And then exhale, right hand comes down, tuck your right toes, lift up to 3-leg dog. And then go ahead and point your left big toe. Sweep your left leg a little higher. Maybe your belly can turn to the left a little bit, but then try to square your shoulders. So the left shoulder drops forward and down. One full breath here. And then just square the hips and float the left foot down, coming back into downward facing dog. Take a few pedals in the legs if you need to. And then from here, press the floor away with the hands, draw the abdominals in, reach the right foot up just for a breath. And then we'll bring the right knee forward toward the right wrist to come into pigeon. So as the right knee comes forward, the left leg slides back. And so you can have the right ankle tucked close to the left hip here. So you don't necessarily have to walk that foot up high. You can keep it close to the hip. We're going to try to come into a forward fold. So as you're folding forward over the right leg, pay attention to the way it feels in the right hip. And if it feels too intense, if it's hard to breathe through it, come back up, take your left knee out to the left side, and create more of a 90-90 position in the knees, giving your hips a little more space for this stretch. The most important thing is that it works for your body. So if it feels really intense and it's hard to breathe or it feels uncomfortable, try to shift around and find a way that you can stay for a few breaths. Feel that gentle stretch, but not discomfort. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath here. And then walk your way back up onto your hands. Pressing into your hands, tuck your left toes under. Step back to downward facing dog. Stay for 1 breath. And then as you exhale here, we're going to drop the knees. We'll come back for that other side pigeon. Drop the knees, coming back into tabletop. Take your right arm out to the right side, and we'll thread the right arm under the left. So once you get the right shoulder down, the side of the head down, slide your left hand up, coming in to thread the needle, deep twist here, tops of the feet touching the floor, full belly breath. And then slide your left hand down, press back up to tabletop, walk your way forward. So we're going to come into a little half plank position. So the hips drop, the chest is above the thumbs. Squeeze the elbows in, come all the way down to your belly. So we're just going to lean all the way down to the floor. Keep the legs long and extended here. Slide the elbows forward and just prop up on the elbows. So lifting up to Sphinx pose. So this is a little low supported back bend. Try to reach your heart forward. Bring your gaze forward, as if you were pulling the rib cage forward toward the elbows and pulling the elbows backward toward the rib cage. So even though it doesn't look like you've done anything, you've kind of created this tension between the elbows and the ribs to bring that deep back bend into the back. Take another breath here. And then we're going to stay on the left elbow. Reach the right foot and right hand to the right foot and just pull the right heel into the backside. Press the right thigh down, stretching into the quads and the hip flexors here. Stay for a breath. And then release the right foot gently, come onto the right elbow and reverse it. Take the left foot, pull the left heel into the backside, press the thigh down to the ground. Stay for a breath. And then release the left foot gently. Bring 2 hands back to the front. Slide the hands under the shoulders. Press back up through table to downward facing dog. So active in the arms, pushing the floor away, lift the belly, lift the left foot, and then bring the left knee forward to pigeon. So the left knee toward the left wrist. Slide the right leg back. And as you're finding that forward fold, keep in mind that your option here is to bring the right knee out to the right side, creating this 90-90 position that gives your hips a little more space. So if you need the 90-90 position in order to be comfortable and breathe through this stretch for a good, 4 or 5 breaths, just keep in mind that this is still the stretch. This is the same exact stretch, just in a different way to give space to your body. And if you practice it here for a while, you might eventually open the hips enough that you can extend that back leg back. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. It's important just to be where you are and kind of think about what's the best thing for your body. And only you will know that, because only you can feel this. 1 more big breath. And then walk your way back up onto your hands. Tuck your right toes, lift up your left knee, step back to downward facing dog. Pedal the legs a few times if you like. And then we'll drop the knees to come back down to tabletop. A little space between the knees, untuck the toes, reach the left arm sideways, and we'll stretch the left arm under the right arm, letting the shoulder come down, the side of the head come down, and then just reach the right arm overhead. Try to keep touching the tops of the feet to the floor. Take a breath or 2. And then slide your right hand down. Press your way back up to tabletop. Walk your way forward to that half plank position again, leaning your chest over your thumbs. Squeeze the elbows in, come all the way down to your belly, and bring the legs closer together. I'll give you the option to either come back up to Sphinx, so taking that low supported back bend, or if you like, you can come a little deeper by keeping the hands under the shoulders, keeping the elbows pulling in, and then pressing into the hands just a bit, lifting into Cobra. So as you take the back bend here, keep reaching the tailbone toward the heels. Keep the elbows tucking in and the shoulders drawing down. Gaze forward or up. Stay for 1 more breath. And then exhale, release, bring your chest down. Press back through table. Take the knees a little wider and sit back in child's pose. Letting your forehead come back to the floor or back to your arms. And just stay for a couple of breaths here. One more belly breath. And then on your inhale, lift up through table and transition to a seated position. So come down, take a seat. Cross your legs comfortably. So however you can, comfortably cross. Just like we did at the top. We're going to bring the hands to the front and walk your way into that same forward fold. So we've had a good amount of hip stretching here. You might find as we're coming back into this stretch, you might have a little more range. Things might feel a little more spacious. You might feel a little more easy in this forward fold. Stay for 2 breaths. Last big breath. And then gently walk your way back upright. So keep your legs crossed just as they are. We're going to take a little challenge here. Plant your hands beside you on the floor, tenting your fingertips or maybe pressing your palms down. For me, it works better on the fingertips. And we're going to try to curl the abdominals and lift the hips off the floor. So pressing into the hands, curling the hips up, taking a little lift. This is Lolasana or pendant pose.
And then we're going to switch the position of the legs, crossing the other leg on top or the other leg in front. Walk your way back into that forward fold, and we'll stay for a good 2 or 3 breaths here, settling into the place where you feel a stretch. One more big breath. And then inhale, walk your way back upright. Good. So we'll step the feet to the front. Take the feet wide, wider than the edges of your mat. Lean back on your hands, and then drop the knees side to side a few times. Just getting a little movement in the hips and the low back and the knees. And then bring your knees around to the right side. Bring your left hand to your right hand and look to the back of your mat. It's a big outer hip stretch here on the right hip. Take a breath. And then release, come back through center. Stagger your knees to the left. Bring your right hand around, looking to the back of your mat. Outer hip stretch here for the left hip. Take a breath. And then come back to center. Tuck your knees into your chest, and we're just going to come all the way down on the back, folding the knees in, wrap the arms around the legs, lift your head and your shoulders, rock yourself a few times, massaging your low back against the floor. And then release your head and your shoulders down. Open your arms out in a T position. We're going to shift the hips to the left side of the mat and drop the knees to the right side of the mat. So just bending the knees, bringing them over to the right, keeping the arms out in that T. Try to settle your left shoulder blade to the floor, looking up to the ceiling or looking to the left. Take a good 3 or 4 breaths here. And then gently bring your knees through center. Shift your hips to the right. Drop your knees to the left. Keep your arms out in that T. And let your right shoulder blade settle down. Look up or look to the right. And take a few rounds of breath here. Start to slow things down. One more full breath here. And then bring your knees back to center. Extend your legs out. Bring your arms down by your body. Turn your palms up to face the ceiling. And take a second, shift around just a little bit, tucking your shoulder blades under, walking your feet wide enough that your hips can relax, walking your hands out wide enough that your shoulders can relax. Close your eyes. And just take a moment here, or a few moments here, to settle into stillness. Notice if you're holding tension in your face. If you need to, soften your eyes. Unwrinkle your brow. Unclench your jaw.
And just imagine that your body is melting into the floor. And then take these next few breaths just to begin to bring your awareness back. Maybe start to move a little bit, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Turn your head side to side. When you're ready, stretch your arms overhead. Point your toes, squeeze everything. And then fold your knees into your chest. Take your time, rock your way back up to seated. Find those comfortable cross-legged positions. Bring your hands back to your heart. And just take one more quiet breath here. Maybe notice the difference in the way you feel now and the way you felt when you started. Or maybe just take a moment here to notice the space in your body. Or maybe just to offer yourself some kind words for taking this time to practice, to move around and breathe. And then lift up your head, open your eyes, and I honor the space in you, the light and love in you. When we meet, we should meet there. Namaste. Thanks for joining me.